Member of Parliament was no exception where the war is concerned. Even Michael Manley was injured on the campaign. Mike Henry was shot but survived. Ryan McGann was murdered right there in McGregor Gully. 1980 was bad. It was so bad. It was bloody. It was the bloodiest election of all time. For the people who survived 1980, really have a story to tell.
We used to live 11 Bay Farm Road, and in the election time there, you see there had a lot of shooting. My mother and father tell me, say, Tony, go on underneath the bed, and anything you hear, don't come out, stay underneath there.
A baby was rescued somewhere there in Arnett Garden where his mother and father was murdered, and the baby was there in a pool of blood. And that's when the police came to the rescue of that child. Eastern Jamaica was on fire, in speaking of Dunkirk, Mountain View, Harbourview, Rockfort, Warwick Isle, even Bulby. If you don't live there, you don't want to go there. It reached the point where crime was spreading all over, but especially in a Kingston and St. Andrew.
Them time, dust in a great thing, them time there. We have got school, we have to defend it. Who are PLP, who are JLP, who for a while time, so we have to come and be a gang thing. We could up on corner.
1980, I was living in Kingston 11 on a street called Binns Road. Some say a waterhouse, yeah? But some classify it as Olympic Garden, said Speed. My house facing the borderline, which was Dudney Road. I was living in a stronghold PMP community. At the time, the GLP would come down to Dudley Road and fire shot down to my side, hoping they could get away to come down to do the damage. Or the PMP would hide off into yards, lay waiting them to prevent them from coming down into community. As soon as them come around, they will be greeted with bottles and stones and even gunshots also. It was really scary, especially for the law-abiding citizen.
When they kill a person, or just miss a gunshot bust like rat or capture for come down. The man get flapped and cut off more pump in it.
I grew up in a Christian home with my godmother, and I'm telling you, Aunt Rose, she was a praying woman. And she was fear for us, for something to happen to us. But what she do was prayed. Once the gunshot start to ring out, all she do was on her knees praying. That year, a lot of people lose their life, people that I know personally. Every day is a sad news. Who get shot up from who was murdered, who for house got burned down, who got 24-hour notice to leave the community. I am not sure what that got into the youth, but all I know, the youth them lost them way. Persons who used to sit, eat and drink together turn against their one another, all because of politics. All of a sudden, color becomes a problem. If you wear green, you could be attacked by the PMP. You could either be beaten or even murdered. And if you wear orange or red, you could be attacked by the laborites. You have to be careful you show political signs. The fist or the finger, that could also get you murdered. People was taken from public transportation and been beaten. I remember them stop a minibus coming from Waterhouse, right at the four-way there, so Olympic Way and Bay Farm Road, and taking on the people them one by one and ask them what them vote for. If you say PMP, you know it go. But nobody not stupid enough to say PMP. So once you say labor, right, them let it go and you're gone where you go. A Rastaman was in the bus, and them people them take him out and say, Rastaman, where you vote for? And the Rastaman said, well, I don't vote for nobody, I neutral. And the man give him a pickaxe stick and say, Rasta, get in gear. And the rest right there was history. In 1980, a lot of community was in red. If you go there at your own risk. People was gunned down. Houses got burned down. People have to run away. I remember Danny Charlene. He was very jovial. He give a lot of jokes. If you're around Danny Charlene and you don't laugh, something is wrong with you. Well, we really love him, you know. He was on the corner talking, giving jokes, and the side say, he might go and dance at water house. So him walk down the street, you know. But shortly after him left, we hear gunshot ring out. When the smoke clear, people screaming and shouting and bawling, saying Danny Charlene was murdered right there on Bay Farm Road, vicinity St. Patrick Primary School. One evening, the little youth them set up a scarecrow right at the corner, Scarlet Road and Dudney Road, and leaned up against the wall. It was dressed up in a pants and jacket and, you know, a hat. And they put a pipe iron into the scarecrow and to let it seem like it's a man up on the corner with a gun. Here comes a guy come around the corner looking for someone to shoot in the name of politics. Buck up the scarecrow and put a shot in the scarecrow. Run back around the corner because it's a one pop in my bus set speed. They only can fire one shot at a time. Him come back on again and say the scarecrow still lean up against the wall and put a next shot in the scarecrow and run back around the corner. So every time I shoot the scarecrow go down and down a little bit. So the third time come back around and fire. Some soldiers hid into a yard watching him. So them point the SLR across the street and just open it up on him. The soldiers' word was, you shoot the scarecrow and the scarecrow shot your back. I remember Rumba, not his real name, he'd be on a light post when a guy came around the corner with an M16 and started firing shot. Rumba step out with two big stones and the first one him fling lick down the guy speechless with him rifle. Rumba didn't even think of taking up the rifle. He just think of running away from the scene. No man want to confront a man with a rifle. When it comes to stone, Rumba dangerous. I would rather him point a rifle at me than point a stone at me. However, short the guy gained consciousness, took up him M16 and start to fire, then run off by retracing his step back to where he came from. The Hutchinson family was murdered right there on Conway Road. Husband and wife was attacked. The shooter didn't wait for them to open the grill. He just fired through the grill and through the door. When the alarm go off, both of them was murdered. They were laying in pool of blood in them bedroom.
I remember when one of them come for the ballot box them. Some man from up the road come for the ballot box them in a vehicle. Turn up blood now been zone in a ballot box to bombard and the man.
The polling station was attacked and people was held hostage inside. The attacker intention was to steal the ballot box, and if he refused to give them, it's gunshot. Before you knew it, the attackers was attacked, where a gunshot was exchanged. But they made the escape into a vehicle, injured. People was really and truly scared. No man know what tomorrow will bring when it comes to gunshot. It was totally impossible for a day to go by without hearing shots.
When you hear shot, fire. When I know one of them we are run to go look same time. We wait until the cool down. The go out there, you see all the 2-3 man on the ground spread out and get shot. And man, some more time you there all out of the madden them. We used to have a cousin work out there. One time we did the hand theater carry people, emergency. One get shot and hand theater carry them go public and from public to madden and then we there. It was a rough man. And one of my brethren, Olympic youth, 7 somebody them guilty in one night. When you see the man, I next day the man rent the way bad. From the except for them, as long as we know him from that time, man still have the red in my eye. We went by the man in 7, and your relative dead 1 night.
People have them big nice clean bed empty for weeks because their favorite place to sleep was on the floor. They want to make themselves a smaller target for gunshot. In 1980, two favorite words to utter. I'm always listening for them. And I always remember them. Them a come. That's when Labour or PMP a come. You know? So the matter say if you run or get low. That mean man is going on my boat to fire. So man tells if you get low, because if you not get low, you can get shot. I'll always remember those songs when it comes to 1980. The memories of 1980. Buses was attacked going to rallies and meetings. These buses was beaten badly with stone and battle. Stone crashing through the windows of these buses and battles beating at the body of the bus. If the bus ever stop, there'll be dead bodies, injured bodies. If the PMP bus go through the GLP era, expect these things to happen. And if the PMP bus drive through the GLP era, expect these things to happen. But that didn't stop people from going to their rallies and their political meetings. Gunman went into a gambling house and take out the woman them and use axe and chop up the man them. Just imagine you had a gun point, but an axe them used to chop you up. I remember myself, Donovan, Shelley and I was on the veranda playing when Antipat came rushing through saying, let us leave, we need to go Portmore, war are going to start. I think it was on the 30th of October. It was election day and the vote was going in and they were counting the ballot box. So Shelley, Donovan, and Camille went into the pickup. Another guy was there, so I did not know him. I sat and watched the pickup drove out of the open land and make a right and head down Binns Road. Just then I walked to my house. Not even 2 minutes after the van left, I hear a gunshot rang out. They ran into soldiers down the street.
By the morning, Antipat come for it. Antipat come for it up on the veranda play and she said, come, we carry over because I be able things are going over here, so we don't want nothing to do, no me. My cousin named Camille and my cousin named Donovan. When we look, my auntie, husband, brother, I think they're on the van back. Yeah. And then she said, oh, if I come grab something and come and jump in the van because we are going to Portmore auntie live. So we're going to Portmore, well, we drive off now, I will turn on a Binns, but I said, we turn on College Road. The amount of gunshot we fire in the van pan way as I pitting at the man, then she said, I pitting at the van, you know. Me and my cousin run at the back, the man they run at the back, my auntie and Farah two pitting at the front and my other local cousin. So three pitting at the front and my auntie and her husband and me and my other cousin run at the back and my auntie husband brother. I said my brother said to my other cousin, get low. That time when I know a chopper gun, because I remember I look gun with the old one, I can't forget because right now I'm a 46-year-old. And I tell you, sir, ears. It bother me. I couldn't sleep. I'm be about, when I sleep, I can't sleep. But ears, it bother me. Ears. Up to 20 days, I remember. I have to laugh. So my cousin that be about 48, 49 now. Because she's older than me, because I'm 46 now.
So when the shot fire, what happened? What you see when the shot start to fire?
We don't see daylight come out and go, we see the soldier then just come run and cut down on them knee, because khaki, them used to read them time there. A soldier. Khaki, them just come round the corner upon them knee, just start shoot up. I went upon Jesus. Because that's the command tell the Christian, you know. I mean upon Jesus, that I'm little, you know,
so the guy in the back of the vehicle, what happened to him?
Him get shot to man, him drop in the van and then them drive same with him and carry him to hospital. Him never dead. Him end up go foreign go dead afterwards because they shot the lodge in him head. I think they shot the lodge in him head and years after him dead foreign.
So what happened to Camille?
Camille dead same time I say when we dead in the van. Me don't go see Camille head go so. Be a white, you know say I'm marrow that because you look at say white. Be a marrow fly out of Camille head. I said that day there was a day and then my cousin that I never let shot for her face well big so. That day there was a day, man. That day they would never want to 80 election again. No matter about them election are alright, but it's 80 in a Jamaica, we don't want to 80 come back no time at all. Because all election now go on, I tell you, no better something than 1980. Never forget that time, 1980 election.
The election was smooth sailing compared to 1980.
Was
was the most violent one.
Lose one.
God, them time there, based on how man that take box. Anybody can get shot at them time because when them come for box, a gunshot business. I feel say it's a the wickedest election.
Bloody. Bloody, man. Wicked. Wicked, man. Wicked like a civil war.
I would never want to see another 1980. I don't think I would ever see another 1980. This thing come far. I live to see PMP and Labour right walk up and down at the same community. People know say a man have voted for Labour right and people know say a man have voted for PMP into one community, and it's not a problem. We just need to make another step further now by observing the Black Life Matter, people's life matter, human life matter, where we think before we pull the trigger. We can't depend on the government for this. We can't depend on the preacher man for this. We have to just depend on ourselves. Yeah? Talk to the man of the mirror. Remember where we are coming from to where we are now. Remember where Marcus Garvey fight for. Remember where Paul Bogle fight for. Check the teaching of Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan. Remember the saying, can we all get along? Sweet Jamaica, the land we love. Let us bring it back to the paradise it once was. Dark truth, people. Dark truth. Dark truth. Dark truth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And most of all, drop a comment in the comment section. I want to hear what you say.